Ayubowan, a very good morning to all. Venerable Mahasangha and all the distinguished guests. Welcome to the 10th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approaches, iCMA 2023, organized by the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Sri Jayewardenepura, centralizing the theme towards global knowledge through multidisciplinary research. Before we dive into the heart of our conference, let's take a moment to reflect on the significance of today's gathering. iCMA is not just an event, it's a convergence of minds, a platform for sharing knowledge, and a celebration of innovation. Before we proceed, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to each one of you for gracing us with your presence. It is your expertise and passion for multidisciplinary research that make this gathering truly exceptional. Light is a symbol of brightness and prosperity. With blessings that this conference will achieve its intended outcome, let us now officially commence the conference by lighting the traditional oil lamp, keeping up with our profound traditions of Sri Lanka. For that, I cordially invite the following dignitaries to light the oil lamp. Senior Professor Padmalal Manage, Vice Chancellor of University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Emeritus Professor Indral De Silva, our keynote speaker today, Professor Rasika Pereira, Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and the Conference Chair of this year iCMA, Professor Shirantha Heenkenda, Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Dushan Jayavikrama, Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, Professor Manori Gamage, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, Dr. Nishan Dharmavira, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Professor Pradeep Jayavira, Dean of the Faculty of Urban and Aquatic Bioresources, Professor Surangi Yasawardena, Dean of the Faculty of Dental Sciences, Librarian Dr. Nayana Vijayasundara, Mr. A.B. Valavita, Registrar of University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Emeritus Professor Swarna Piyasiri, representing former Deans of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, Professor Vasanta Pereira, representing chairpersons of the Boards of Studies of Faculty of Graduate Studies and Editorial Committee of iCMA 2023, Mr. Muhammad Atiq, Secretary of the iCMA 2023, Mrs. Madhushi Egodage, Assistant Registrar of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, and Mrs. Lekha Vikramasinghe, Deputy Bursar of the Faculty of Graduate Studies. With much honor now, my request goes to the following dignitaries. to the head table our Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Padmalal Manage, Professor Rasika Pereira, Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and the Conference Chair of iCMA 2023, our keynote speaker, Emeritus Professor Indral De Silva, and the Secretary of this year's iCMA, Mr. Mohammad Atik. Thank you very much. The University of Sri Jayewardenepura, situated in the heart of Colombo, has a long and glorious history. Having been established in the 1959 at Gangodavilla, its roots can be traced back to Vidyodaya Pirivena, established in 1873 by Hikaduwe Sri Sumangala Thero at Maliga Kanda. Today, the university pays homage for more than 60 years of history while paying tribute to a journey of 147 years. Today, the university stands strong with 11 faculties and home to over 13,000 undergraduates, over 2,000 postgraduate students. It is considered the largest university in terms of student population in Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rise for the university anthem. Thank you. Behind every achievement, there is always a pillar of strength. His commitment to advancing knowledge in his field is further demonstrated by his active membership in esteemed professional organizations, including the Forum for Ethics Review Committees of Asia and the Western Pacific, the Association of Clinical Biochemists of India, the College of Biochemists of Sri Lanka, and being one of the current executive committee members of the Forum for Asian and Oceanian Biochemists and Molecular Biologists, among others. I would like to invite the chair of the iCMA 2023, and the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Professor Rasika Pereira, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good morning. The Most Venerable Mahasangha, Avasarai Hamudurane, Senior Professor Padmalal M. Manage, Vice Chancellor of University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Emeritus Professor Indralal De Silva, our keynote speaker, the Deans of Faculties, the past Deans of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, the Registrar, the Bursar, the Librarian, Chairpersons of the Boards of Studies of Faculty of Graduate Studies, the coordinators of the postgraduate courses conducted by the Faculty of Graduate Studies, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure to deliver this welcome speech on the occasion of the 10th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approaches 2023. First and foremost, let me welcome our chief guest, the Vice Chancellor of University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Senior Professor Padmalal M. Manage. It is indeed a pleasure, sir, and a privilege to have you here, and as the Faculty of Graduate Studies, we really appreciate the help extended in organizing this conference. Further, it is indeed a pleasure to have you guiding us at this juncture with your experience of being the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies before assuming your duty as the Vice Chancellor of the University. And it is a very special day for him as well, being his birthday. So let me wish Professor Padmalal Manage a very happy birthday, sir. Emeritus Professor Indralal De Silva, sir, it is indeed a privilege to have you as the keynote speaker for this conference, and I warmly welcome you and thank you as well for readily agreeing to deliver the keynote address. I would also like to welcome all the Deans of Faculties. I'm not going to read out all the names and the faculties due to lack of time, but it is indeed a pleasure to have all of you here in person today, despite your busy schedules, to grace this occasion. Without the guiding lights of the past, the Faculty of Graduate Studies would not have been able to achieve the status that it has achieved today. Thus, let me warmly welcome the past Deans of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, and especially Emeritus Professor Swarna Piyasiri, who was instrumental in starting the iCMA conference, not 10 years back, but 10 times back. Let me also welcome the Registrar of the University, Mr. A.B. Valivita, and the Librarian, Dr. Nayana Vijayasundara, the Assistant Registrar and the Deputy Bursar of the Faculty of Graduate Studies. Your presence and the help extended in organizing this event is greatly appreciated. I warmly welcome the chairpersons of the Boards of Study in the Faculty of Graduate Studies. Your work getting the abstracts evaluated on time really made our lives easier in preparing for this conference. The coordinators of the different courses of study offered by the Faculty of Graduate Studies, I also welcome you, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for the great support extended to the faculty in conducting the postgraduate courses of study. I would also like to welcome all the other guests for joining this inauguration ceremony in person and through the Zoom and other platforms. Now, the theme for iCMA 2023 is towards global knowledge through multidisciplinary research, which signifies a collaborative approach to tackling complex challenges. By integrating diverse fields such as science, humanities, and technology, this method fosters comprehensive insights and innovative solutions. Multidisciplinary research transcends traditional boundaries, encouraging cross-pollination of ideas as well as methodologies. It leverages diverse perspectives to address multifaceted issues like climate change, healthcare, and social inequality. Through this holistic approach, researchers do aim to advance human understanding and contribute to sustainable development worldwide. And it is hoped that the conference, even in a small way, will be a stepping stone in achieving the said objective. Finally, I hope that you will have a pleasant and educative time during the course of this conference and also enjoy it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A man with a vision of an oracle, guidance of a father with an ironclad work ethic. His immense contribution towards research and academic development has acted as a catalyst of many success stories. As one of the co-chairs of the Research Council, he has contributed a prominent service to the research culture in the University of Sri Jayewardenepura. His dedication and expertise in the fields of biology, water quality, and environmental management are evident in his multifaceted contributions. He is the director of the Center for Water Quality and Algae Research, co-chair of the Research Council of Sri Jayewardenepura, a board member of the National Science Foundation, and honorary fellow, Robert Gordon University, United Kingdom. And also, we are very proud to announce that he was the former Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chief guest of this prestigious event, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Senior Professor Padmalalem Manage, to deliver his speech.
Very good morning to all. Mahasangha and the chair of the conference, Professor Rasika Pereira, at the Dean Faculty of Graduate Studies, and all the deans of the faculties and board chairs of the faculties and lecturers, and my dear former Dean Faculty of Graduate Studies, Professor Suwarna Piesiri, because it is very important to say she is my supervisor when I was undergraduate student, and then my head department of zoology, and then the Dean Faculty of Graduate Studies. So then today I am very happy to see her in front of me as invitee. So then all the lecturers and paper presenters and well-wishers. So this is very important because so we have a number of conference in the university. So the Faculty of Graduate Studies is quite special. So because this conference represent all faculties. So that's been the multinational or multidisciplinary nature. So that is very important, and the theme of the conference is towards global knowledge through multidisciplinary research. So as you know, now the world is moving to the multidisciplinary approach. So therefore the multidisciplinary research and researchers are very important for the national development. So Professor Rasika mentioned about the climate change and global warming and the food problem and other environmental problem all comes under multidisciplinary research. So now in the our university also now we are working with other departments, and we do multidisciplinary research. So that is I think very important, otherwise so we can't move forward. So the Faculty of Graduate Studies, I have experience about the 5 years. So therefore I am very sure the Faculty of Graduate Studies can contribute to the university very well. So as you know, so all the universities now ranking by the international agencies. So therefore this ranking is very important for our survival. So I remember 2016, 2014 and 2016 when we established the Research Council. So the University of Sri Jayewardenepura was ranked as 7th place in the country. So at that time all deans, I remember some of deans here and some staff members and senior members here. So then we worked hard, then we planned how to take our university to the next best level. It was take more than 6 years, and gradually we achieve our target. So then 2022 we ranked the 2nd place of the country in terms of our research and other the achievement. And then 2017 we established Innovation, Invention and Venture Creation Council. So then we discuss then how our research come to the global as well as the local market, the commercialization. I remember Professor Hiinkenda was the co-chair of this IIBC, and they worked hard to take this, the research to the commercial level. So then I am very happy as the Vice Chancellor of the university to say, so the Sri Lankan, from Sri Lankan universities, so the Jayewardenepura University has the highest number of patents, and also we have filed the highest number of the patents in Sri Lanka, and so we encourage further to get more patent to the national development. So that is the what we can contribute to the country. So and also so I basically and very importantly, so I believe, so we have to align all our research and all innovation and invention to the sustainable development goal of the country. So that is very important, because so we have to align our programs, academic programs as well as research for the sustainable development goal. So that is mandatory, and the government is seeking so then how we contribute to the sustainable development of the country, and how we contribute to the development of the community. So therefore I am very sure all our members of the university and researchers, so they contribute to the national development. So therefore this type of forum is very important, because the student and the academics they present their research finding, and we open this conference to discuss with our finding and our new innovation and invention with policymakers. So then only the policymakers can take our research finding to prepare their policies. So therefore this conference become a good platform for our policymakers. So then Jayewardenepura University recently, 2 years back, so we became third place of the country, and again we become second place. As the Vice Chancellor, I strongly believe the research culture. So we need to inculcate research culture, and we have to give further facilities to our academics and research to do more research towards the national development. So therefore we have, though we are we are passing a very crucial time, so then so myself and our deans decided to consider about the research grants. So therefore we started already, we advertised the research grants until 15th of this month. Then please come up with good research proposals. So we are very happy to fund you and to do more research. So then and the same time I want to tell you, so then our rules and regulation is quite tough now. So because we have limited funds to support the research, therefore we expect maximum outcome from our researchers. So that is very important. And also you remember, so we started research award ceremony to encourage our researchers. So the last 2-3 years we couldn't do because of the financial crisis of the country and the university. So this year, so I want to start it again. So then I am trying to get funds from outside. So then anyway, so then we have to encourage, and we have to appreciate, and we have to encourage our academics and researchers. In the Faculty of Graduate Studies, I think Professor Piyasiri remember, then you started the multidisciplinary journal, and then during my period I tried in my best to take this journal to the Scopus level. So we completed more than 85%, 90%. So we completed. Now Professor Rasik is working with the journal to get the Scopus status. So then I believe, when I give you a target to complete this, and within this year, so we want to get the Scopus status. So what we achieve by, the means of research. And also all PhDs and MPhil students, so when they submit their thesis, I think still we follow this thing. So then they have to give us the proof of the publication, international, the index publication. So these are the strategies we follow to take our university to this level, and then in future we hope to take our university to the best level in the country. So therefore I need all your support. So I am very happy to help all our academics and researchers to whatever, whenever you want in my capacity. So that is so my major objective. So therefore I don't want to talk more about the research. I think you all well aware, and hope. So this year is very crucial period in terms of the financial. So anyway, so we can manage everything, and we can go for our target. So I wish you very fruitful conference, and your support is all the time very important to develop our university and to take our university to the next best level. This is all our target. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our keynote speaker this morning, Emeritus Professor Indral De Silva, needs no introduction, for he is a renowned scholar with over 40 years of experience on demography, humanities and social sciences fields. Nevertheless, we are delighted to officially introduce our keynote speaker this morning to you. Therefore, I cordially invite the conference chair, Professor Rasika Pereira, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Kanishka. W. Indral De Silva obtained his bachelor's degree in development studies, majoring in statistics, from the University of Colombo in 1977, and joined the Department of Demography in 1979, and served 4 decades as an academic at University of Colombo. In 1980, he received a diploma in population studies from International Institute of Population Sciences, Mumbai, with a scholarship from the United Nations Economic Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. He obtained his MA and the PhD from the Australian National University in 1985 and 1990 respectively, with scholarships from the same university. In 1995, he was appointed as Associate Professor in Demography, and later in the year 2001, he was appointed as the Founder Chair Professor of Demography, a position he held for 17 years at University of Colombo. In recognition of his administrative contribution to the university, Professor Indral De Silva was appointed to the post of Dean of the Faculty of Arts and functioned as the Dean of the Faculty for the period 2009 to 2011, and acted as Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo on several occasions. He served as the head of the Department of Demography for approximately 6 years, and also functioned as a Senior Research Fellow in the National Center for Advanced Studies in Humanities and Social Sciences of the University Grants Commission in the years 2014, 2015, and 2018. He also served as the Executive Director Acting and the Associate Director, Regional Center for Strategic Studies, Colombo, during 2017 and 2019. Further, he has served as a member of various councils of management, including that of University of Colombo. He was offered several prestigious fellowships, including the Senior Fulbright, Takemi, Rockefeller Foundation, and the ARI National University of Singapore. Along with these recognitions, he has functioned as a research fellow at the National University of Singapore in 2004, Harvard School of Public Health from 1996 to 1998, and at the Australian National University from 1990 to 1991. Professor Indalal de Silva has published a significant number of books, monographs, chapters, and has presented over 100 research papers in many international and national conferences. He has also published over 100 research articles in reputed local and international journals, and has achieved, as of now, more than 1,100 Google Scholar citations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our keynote speaker of the conference, Emeritus Professor Indalal de Silva.
Good morning to all of you. Reverences, Senior Professor Padmalal Manage, Vice Chancellor, University of Sri Jayewardenepura, Professor Rasika Perra, Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies, and all the deans who are here, and also all the senior members, and I know Professor PSC very well because we taught many PhD programs, and then all the administrators, including registrar and the registrar of the university, as well as the registrar of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, and also all the senior members, senior academics, and all of the administrators, and also Mr. Atik, the secretary of the conference, and dear students who are participating online. I don't see any student physically here, but I know that they are participating online. Well, I have been asked to deliver this particular presentation about multidisciplinary research, but first I have to show you that I am a multidisciplinary researcher. You know, not only as a researcher, I tend to teach so many faculties, including the management faculty here, PhD program, and some of other master's program, and also postgraduate institute of medicine, and also so many programs in the University of Colombo and many other places, Kotalala Defense, National Defense University, and so many other places. Now, you may ask the simple question, what is meant by multidisciplinary research? Well, it is a cross-disciplinary, as Vice Chancellor already mentioned very clearly. It's a transdisciplinary. In fact, my advantage is that as a demographer, I have worked in so many countries, so many universities, and worked with so many research groups. Therefore, I experience that I learn how to engage in multidisciplinary research. Therefore, what is cross-disciplinary mean? How two or more disciplines contribute to an investigation of a specific problem. Now, if you understand today in the world, the problems are very complex, which requiring knowledge of all its aspects such as economic, social, political, psychological, health, etc. Therefore, there are solutions through research asked for multidisciplinary approach. What basically saying is that we require multidisciplinary approach in order to solve at least some of the problems to reasonable level. So, it is imperative to understand the nuance of multidisciplinary research to engage in academia. Now, let me give a simple example. Now, I know that there are so many examples came from the COVID-19, the pandemic in the world. But I am taking, most of the people know that there was economical problems, there were lockdown problems, and there are social problems, food security problems. There are so much of problems with the COVID-19. But I am not taking that one. I am taking very classic example from my own discipline. China had a serious problem in 1970s. Their population was growing very fast, and they were worried to what to do. They called all the researchers, and they want to find a solution for that rapid growth of the population. What was the problem with China? Of course, you know, sometimes they were, you know, no Chinese person here, therefore I can mention that they were eating sometimes rats. You know, they didn't have sufficient amount of food, right? Therefore, therefore, they want to find a solution for that rapidly growing population. They noticed that in the population there were large number of children and the high dependency and the low economic growth and all kind of problems in the population and the country economically and so on, because the population is rising very fast. Due to this high growth, the population basic requirements were in problem. The supply of food in trouble, and the education, it was not possible to most of the places. Employment opportunities, they were in trouble. Unemployment, you know, poor employment opportunities, and also the income levels are much less. Therefore, the country thought what to do about it. So the state intervened to reduce births. They noticed that there are of course two ways you can reduce the population. One is reduce the birth, other one, killing the people. There are two options. Third option is of course sending as much as more people abroad. Probably Sri Lanka is approaching 1 or 2, I will discuss about that. You know, more and more people leaving the country, that's one way of reducing the population. And also same time our death rates are rising very rapidly due to some reasons. Now, therefore state thought what to do. One child family policy they brought. Only one child you can have in your family. They brought that policy, that law, 1979. And they expanded abortion facilities, expansion of contraceptives, and expansion of education, and they promoted more and more students to go abroad. I can remember when I was a student at the ANU, 1980s, there were a lot of Chinese students, right? They promoted Chinese students to go abroad. Therefore, they thought that probably once they go abroad, they will settle there and they will help the China to improve. Yes, it's true. Therefore, they promoted international migration. And even you go to any country, in the US, there are Chinatown. Singapore, there is a Chinatown. Everywhere, Chinatowns are there. Probably not in Sri Lanka, very soon. They expanded agriculture and industry and service sector also. Now, therefore, the Chinese were able to control the population growth. But the problem is now it is different. What is the problem now? The population is aging very rapidly. They have a very large segment of elderly people in the population. The births declining unexpected manner. Labor force is shrinking and also population declining. Now, few years back or few decades back, all the time, just China was the most populous country in the world. But India is now the most populous country in the world. Interesting, another one. If you consider the men and women for marriageable ages also, in China, rural areas, for every 100 females, they have 300 men. Now for every 100 females, they have 300 men. What is the reason? Reason was that sex selective abortion. One child family policy, every couple try to have a baby boy. Once the fetus is a female, they aborted it. Second one also female fetus, aborted it until they get a male fetus. Once it is male fetus, they continue with the pregnancy. Therefore, now China is having a problem in marriage and so many other things are concerned. They have more men and probably they were thinking and they are planning to send more men abroad and probably for marriage purpose and so on. My attachment to the Jayewardenepura University, of course you can see from this particular publication, my first journal appeared in the Vidyodaya, Journal Arts and Science Letters, 1979. Publication of mine, my supervisor is also my guru, my mentor, Professor V.K. Samarnayaka. He is the former Dean of the Science, University of Colombo, Father of Computer Science, established, and my supervisor and my guru. He was from this university. Therefore, I have some attachment to this university. my first publication, my first journal article appeared in 79. It is about education. Therefore, I am showing that I am a multidisciplinary researcher. This was my first article. I presented this article in front of large volume of foreigners, World University Service in 1976. I was afraid to talk in front of the foreigners, but my supervisor encouraged me. Even I do encourage a lot of undergraduates and postgraduate students to talk in front of foreigners. Well, I continue my publications with my all research groups. The latest publication on the most standard one, published, the journal is Contraception and Reproductive Medicine, which was published with my colleagues or my junior staff. Most of them are MD and medical people. And then title is Unmarried Sri Lankan Youth, Sexual Behavior and Contraceptive Use. Therefore, I have large number of journal articles from medical to health to demography, marriage, labor force, aging, population projections, labor projections, so many. But I don't want to go for my information too much. I will show you only some of my monographs or books. 2018 and 17 I published 2 monographs under the National Center for Advanced Studies under the UGC. The one is Population of Sri Lanka, second one is the important one, the light green one, Re-emergence of Youth Bulge. In Sri Lanka, I am saying that the volume of youth are increasing in coming years. Therefore, we are going to have some problems in the country. The volume is increasing, 15 to 29 the group. The third publication is from the UNFPA, and it was published by the, UNFPA, it was about the Sri Lankan population and about population as well as housing requirements. I have a number of publications on Sri Lankan fertility, procreation, nuptiality, marriage, divorce, remarriage, separation, kind of things. I am a multidisciplinary researcher, and multidisciplinary research every time work with a team. You can see that this was published by the UN Habitat and the Sri Lankan government. Sri Lankan cities published in 2018, and you can see I am the lead author, but I have a number of co-authors. Therefore, urbanization and Sri Lankan cities was discussed. I have a number of publications with the Department of Census and Statistics. You can see that this is about the Sri Lankan population. Not only the population, I have worked with the UN READ program. University of Colombo, we have a research cell attached to the science faculty. I am the member of that research cell. We do number of research activities under the research cell. My basic training is of course as a social scientist, but I have worked in so many Harvard School of Public Health and so many other places. Therefore, I developed my capacity as a health scientist also. Therefore, say this publication about the drivers of deforestation and forest degradation. In Sri Lanka, what factors are contributing for the decline of the forest cover, forest degradation? I am the one of the author among the number of authors. I have done some publications with the Help Page, which is close by here, and the joint publication with the Human Rights Commission. I am the lead author of that publication. Well, my presentation is largely concentrating about the reproductive health. I have 3 publications at the Harvard School of Public Health. I have worked as a Takami Fellow, Senior Fulbright at the Harvard School of Public Health, 1996 to 1998. Therefore, information about the reproductive health and also peripheral morbidity, postpartum morbidity of the women in Sri Lanka, induced abortion, and so many other things. I have somewhat, as a researcher, expenditure for reproductive health. I am the one of the IPS publication. I am the one of the co-author. And also policy project of the US. We wrote a book about the adolescent and youth reproductive health in Sri Lanka. I am the lead author of that one. But my presentation is largely depending on these 2 publications. One was published in 2008, National Study on Adolescent Sexual and Reproductive Health, published by the Plan International, and I am the author of that book. The second book was published very recently, same idea, published by the Child Fund, international NGO. That is about the sexual and reproductive health of the Sri Lankan youth, particularly on their vulnerabilities. Therefore, I will send a copy to the, probably I will be coming again to the 28th or 29th to the Management Faculty International Conference. Probably I will carry a book to the faculty also, and also the main library. And also, multidisciplinary research you can't do alone. You have to have a team. Not only that, you need to have a good funding. Good funding is a difficult task, but if you have a good team, you can work on that. Therefore, my presentation is basically about this particular area. Selected area of the presentation is sexual and reproductive health knowledge and behavior of the youth in Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, I don't see except a few youth here. All are grown-up people, but I think we have a sizable number of people participating online. But it is a message to the adults who are here. Sri Lankan youth are not in good shape. We know that they are very stressful, vulnerable, and their sexual behavior is also not very good, I would say. Therefore, we have to do something about it, and everywhere I tend to tell this one. Now, my research team, to demonstrate that I am not working alone, I have a Doctor of Medicine people in my team who I in fact supported them to get scholarships in the Australia. I am the lead researcher, and co-researchers are Malit, Doctor of Medicine from the PGIM, Colombo, and Sumitra is a medical person, and also Ranjit is a statistician, and also from the Family Planning Association, and some of they are not in Sri Lanka, some of they are in US as well as, and community work person also. I am a multidisciplinary researcher, therefore this is my research team who contributed for that particular research work, that particular publication of the Child Fund. Well, that particular publication includes so many areas. Socio-demographic aspects of the Sri Lankan youth, their future, the projected youth, and so on. The technology usage. Of course, in Sri Lanka, I would say Sri Lankan youth are addicted to the technology. They live with the technology. Of course, one cannot blame. They are happy with the technology because they don't find something live with happy. They live with happily with the mobile phone. Something unfortunate, but what to do? I think if I ask from them also same story. Therefore, technology is a good thing, but if you get addicted, the problem. Sexual and reproductive health education at school is one of the areas we looked at. I have underlined two areas. SRH, sources and knowledge. Those are the two areas I am going to capture. And also sexual behavior of the young people is the one I am going to talk very openly. And also I am not going to talk about the love affairs, teen marriages, teen fertility, and induced abortion practices, policy perspectives of reproductive health, but I am going to discuss about only two items presented there. Therefore, my presentation I have a basic objective, methodology, results, conclusion. Well, as I told you that Sri Lankan youth population is increasing, therefore you can expect some problems in future. Unless you are able to send large number of Sri Lankan youth abroad. Well, good or bad, that's a real problem. But demographically I am saying we are in a very bad position. Why we are in bad position? 3 points. Number one, insurrection, 71, 87, 83 onwards, and youth unrest, middle of 2022. Large volume of well-dedicated, committed youth got killed. And then large volume of our Sri Lankan armed forces and LTT cadres, dedicated groups. I am not saying LTT motivation is the correct one, but however I am talking about the youth. They are motivated for something, they are dedicated for that. Armed forces also, large volume of young people got killed. The more talented, more qualified, more technically sound, large volume of people already gone. They are in Australia, they are in Canada, US, so many countries. I have seen them in so many other countries. Therefore, simple demographic question, with whom we are left with? More dedicated, more talented, more committed, more technically sound people left and living now. Therefore, with whom we are left with? You better answer my question. It's a demographic disaster point I'm talking. Therefore, China, they send large number of people abroad, but all diaspora supporting China. India send large volume of people abroad. US, all IT firms are run by, bulk of the IT firms are run by Indians. Microsoft. They support the India very well, because my first education from India, I learned so many things from India. How the administration, research, everything I learned as a very junior academic from India. Therefore, Sri Lankan society, Sri Lankan population of economy, we are observing significant problems linked with the demographic factors, and more talented, more qualified people are leaving. If I talk to the engineering faculties, even the medical faculties, I know significant number left already, and others, even some of my junior members who gone to New Zealand, Canada, so many other countries, with support of my own research work, they are not coming. Definitely I am knowing that one. Therefore, youth are experiencing rapid transformation in their socio-economic and cultural surroundings, particularly amidst an ongoing economic crisis. I think Professor is knowledgeable, or Heenken, the knowledgeable of the economy much more than me. I am not a pure economist. We know how serious is our economic crisis are. Therefore, along with demographic economics, there are so much of problems. The youth are experiencing rapid transformation. These transformation often adverse, place them vulnerable SRH situations and jeopardize their future life. That's what we observe. Their future life is getting very much jeopardized. Therefore, my objective is to explain SRH knowledge, identifying vulnerabilities of the youth in Sri Lanka, and also very briefly highlighting what we have to do. Therefore, sexual behavior of unmarried Sri Lankan youth. I'm not talking about the married youth, of course. I'm talking about the unmarried youth of Sri Lanka, of the age group of 15 to 24. I believe you know the youth that is the passage to enter into the adulthood. Therefore, if the youth are in somewhat vulnerable situation, the adulthood is going to be somewhat not very productive. Therefore, the methodology is concerned, there are two layers, there are a number of layers, I just reduce it. The first layer is the primary data, qualitative data. The second layer is the quantitative data. My presentation is basically concentrate on the qualitative data. I'm not going to talk much about the quantitative data. My survey basically captured 3 districts with the support of my team, supported by financially by the Child Fund. The covered 3 districts, you can see that all of you know Hambantota is a rural area, Nuvareli is the estate sector, Putlam is the somewhat urban. I have covered somebody called the self-administered type of questionnaire. You may ask why we use the self-administered questionnaire, because you can't ask these questions from them at home. We can't ask those questions at home. Therefore, we call them into particular centers and delivered our questionnaire. Ask them to write their answers by themselves. We call the self-administered type. And we have covered 1,100 unmarried youth in Sri Lanka on those 3 districts. Except few questionnaires, it was administered in Sinhala, Tamil, and there are few English questions also. The distribution is concerned something very much similar, and also sampling is concerned. We look at the population of the youth and male, female, and 2 age groups are there, 15 to 19 and 20 to 24. and distributed the sample according to the youth population in 3 districts, proportion to the youth population. I'm coming quickly to this particular part, SRH education. Right? SRH education at school and reported level of SRH knowledge. Right. Therefore, we will see that SRH knowledge, we know that all of you might have gone, some of your teachers might have taught you some of the SRH sexual and reproductive health items in the school. Therefore, you better think about how the teacher educated you about the SRH. She might have skipped sizable number of sections when they are teaching to you. Therefore, we ask from the youth, what was your exposure? SRH education, what was your exposure? Interestingly, 90% said we had some exposure, SRH education from the school. That means they have some teacher came to the class and say something about sexual and reproductive health. But the problem, we notice that problem is different. What is the exposure of SRH education at school and what is the current knowledge on SRH? Although a large majority of youth were exposed to the SRH education at school, once their knowledge on SRH was assessed, the results were not very satisfactory. As shown in the next slide, teachers and counselors were marked as a very small proportion of youth as the source of SRH information. Now, issue, large majority of the youth in present day use mobile phones to gather SRH information, including vulnerable information. The internet is the very significant, very prominent source of obtaining information. Therefore, online youth or some of the youth are here. Therefore, they may think that, okay, what kind of information we search on SRH? I'm pretty sure that sizable proportion has spent a lot of time on searching the sex-related information rather than sexual and reproductive health scientific information. Well, if you look at this particular diagram, we ask from the youth, what particular source you tend to use to obtain information of sexual and reproductive health? All the male youth said, more than 46% said, we use the internet to get information. But among the females, it is the mother. Still in Sri Lanka, female youths are concerned, mother is the main source for them. But they also use the internet to obtain information, the very first bar, 28%. And also friends, the male and females are concerned, the friends are the another source for obtaining information on sexual and reproductive health. For males, it is over 42%. For females, it is about 37%, apart from internet. And now, what kind of SRH information is searched by the youth from the internet? What kind of information they search? Unfortunately, I can't ask from them directly, right? I believe that the large majority of Sri Lankan youth have searched for some information related to SRH on the internet, but definitely it is not much on the scientific knowledge, the sex videos and some information, some pictures and so on about the phonography kind of information. What particular media platforms youth tend to use, we have asked from them. Majority of the Sri Lankan youth are glued with the Facebook and YouTube and so many other things. Of course, I also tend to observe the YouTube for various my own activities and to understand some other information. But what you have to understand is that youth are very much in a trouble situation. I should explain the sex word has been identified Sri Lanka was the number one 2 times as a country. The people are searching sex information compared with all other countries in the world. Sri Lankan youth became number one, not as a number, as a information search as a one category, the highest proportion. Last bullet is the important one. I am not a person to provide you a very dry kind of presentation. Every time try to see you that you are with me. Look at the last, and also the medical professor also here, the cognitive reserves. There's something we call cognitive reserves are very important. I'm not a medical expert, but I tend to teach so much of medical people, postgraduate Institute of Medicine, community medicine, medical administration, nutrition, and so many programs. Well, what is cognitive reserves? It turns out to be the, cognitive reserves mean, suppose now Hinkendi is driving on the road. Now suddenly vehicle is coming in front of him. Now within a fraction of time, you have to make a decision. Otherwise he is going to collide. If the reserves are good, he knows his vehicle, he can turn to this end very quickly. He can use all multiple brakes, or he remember electronic brakes are there. He quickly remember what is the best, come to the head very quickly. But if you, most of the time, sometimes you, even I also same thing, sometimes we don't get the correct decision on time. It takes time. But if you develop something, how to develop? Simple techniques are there. Look at my last bullet. It turns out that music, especially playing or singing, does wire the brain powerful ways. If you can dancing, playing some musical instrument, or cha-cha, or even saying some jokes to the others and enjoy and laugh, that is also cognitive, it improves the cognitive capacity. Every time I tell my postgraduate students, don't afraid about the lecturers, but you learn them and be happy with them. I want to show you something here. I'm not a musician, I'm not a vocalist, but I have a little understanding about what is happening in the music industry or Sri Lanka. I just grabbed some of the information. The youth are love for this kind of music. Top rank one single song I captured from the music era. I quickly try to understand what is of course we had a very good lyric writer also, unfortunately he left now from the arts faculty. I know him well. If you read this particular song, I will tell the words here. මේකේ second verse එකේ තියෙනවා මේ අමුතු යෝජනාවක් එකෙන් එන්නේ. ඈනම් සුරංගනක් වැනිය බොන්න වෙන්නේ ධම්මික පැනිය සනසෙන්න බෑබම් මේ කෙල්ල නැතිව. එහෙම තමයි සිංහල දාලා තියෙන්නේ. හරි? ඈනම් සුරංගනක් වැනිය බොන්න වෙන්නේ ධම්මික පැනිය සනසෙන්න බෑබම් මේ කෙල්ල නැතිව. දැන් මේකෙන් ඇහුවාම කියවෙන්නේ not only develop love affair, you go something beyond that. ඇතෙම අපේ හුඟක් මෑත කාලේ හදලා තියෙන සින්දු වල ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ ඉන්න වෙලේ මේ කිව්වට කමක් නැහැ. ඇතෙම love affairs form කරන එක විතරක් නෙවෙයි ඊට එහාට යන්නේ කියලා තමයි සින්දුවෙන් පුෂ් කරන්නේ. මේ සින්දුවෙත් මට දැනෙන විදියට නම් එහෙමයි. මේක දැන් කෙනෙක් කියන්න පුළුවන් මේ වචන වලින් එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. නමුත් ගායකයෙක්ගේ කටහඬේ තියෙන vocal tones colors කියලා අපි කියනවා මියුසික් පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන විදිය අර තීන පදමාලාවට වැඩිය වෙනත් දේවල් ඒවයින් එළියට එනවා. ඒතර ඒක ඔක්කොම එකතු කරුවාම මේකෙන් කියවෙන්නේ love affairs පමණක් නෙවෙයි ඊට එහාට යන්න. මොකද love affairs ගත්තොත් youth අතර 85%කට 90%කටම love affairs තියෙනවා. management faculty ඉන්න students ලා හොයලා බැලුවොත් 85%කට 90%කට love affairs තියෙනවා. ගෑනු අය ගොඩක් ඉන්න නිසා පිරිමි අයට multiple love affairs උත් තියෙනවා. Then Colombo campus, law faculty, arts faculty, education faculty, 90-95% is females. 90-95. Medical faculty is only I am teaching there also. It is about 60 to 65% is female. I think මෙහෙම සින්දු තමයි අපි හදලා තින්නේ youthලට. අපේ senior artistලා දැන් මේ business එකෙන් අයින් වෙලා මොකද හේතුව junior artistලා video clips ගහනවා music videos ගාලා ඒක business එකකට ගිහිල්ලා තින්නේ දැන්. හැබැයි youth are in vulnerable situation because of this music culture. හැබැයි ඉතින් මේක ලංකාව විතරක් නෙවෙයි මේක ඉන්දියාවෙත් තියෙනවා. මේ ඉන්දියාවේ තියෙන සින්දුවක පොඩි කොටසක් දාලා තිනවා මම මේක දැක්කට මම හිතන්නේ කාටවත් මේ සින්දුව අඳුන ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. කාටද මේක අඳුන ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. හැබැයි මේ සින්දුවේ පොඩි කොටසක් හරි ඇහුනොත් මම අපි ප්ලේ කරන්න සින්දුව එහෙම නැත්නම් කටින් කියන්න. මේ සින්දුව ඇහිච්ච ගමන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා මේ සින්දුව අහලා තියෙනවා කියලා. Raj Kumar කොයිද මේ ෆිල්ම් එකේ නම 2005 it was public it was telecasted. මේකෙන් කියවෙන්නේ නැත්නම් කිසිම තේරුමක් එච්චර නැහැ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ හින්දි දන්න ප්‍රොෆෙසර්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා මේ මම දන්නවා. මේක සින්දුවේ කියන්නේ අදහස නෙවෙයි මම පොඩ්ඩක් මේක මතක් කරලා දෙන්නම් මොකද්ද කියලා. सारी के फूल सा कभी मैच किया रे कभी छोड़ दिया दिल कभी कैच किया रे. ඒ කියන්නේ සින්දුව අහලා දෙන්න okay. Therefore, youth love, probably they don't know exactly the meaning of this song, but the present day youth love the music instrument. They don't worry about the meaning. What kind of rhythm is there? They love only that part. That is the danger. The delight and the wisdom is required, but delight is there, wisdom is totally disappeared. Even in India, but India still they maintain very good music industry, but Sri Lanka is unfortunate. Therefore, I am giving this little background. Now I am asking from the youth, okay, we gave a diagram and asked them to identify all the male and female sex organs. The female organs are ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus and vagina. And the male, seminal vessels, testes, penis and prostate gland. Therefore, diagram we have shown with the arrow mark. But the arrow mark numbers are there. Suppose number 1, ovaries. Therefore, in the list, they have to tick number 1 and tick that ovary. Therefore, we ask from individually, okay, identify these sex organs correctly from the diagram. Sizable number identified correctly, individually. But the problem is, all the 8 sex organs are concerned. You can see the last bar. Only 29% of the youth was able to identify all the 8 organs correctly. All the 8 organs correctly, only 29% of the youth was able to identify. Among the males, of course, 38% identify the organ. Interesting point is that males were able to identify females' organs much more than the males, much more than the females. The males were able to identify females' organs much more than the females identify their own organs. Right? Therefore, you can see that overall 38% of the males identified all 8 organs. But females, very poor, 22%. But these are very vital organs, right? Cancers and so many other things are concerned. I think medical professor, I should not talk much about those things, right? And STIs are also, sexually transmitted diseases and everything is concerned. However, interesting point is that you can see the district information, Putlam as an urban area, highest knowledge is there. But look at the Noor area, worst. Only 10% of the females, youth, know all the sex organs. That means we have 50% females, but females themselves don't know their organs, right? Therefore, it is something they said we had education from the school, SRH education, but once the knowledge is assessed, knowledge is not that good. And also procreation. The knowledge on procreation is good. That means males particularly, they know there is something called reproduction, but still it is only less than around 50%. 50% of the men and 54% of the female know exactly what is meant by procreation or the reproduction. Now, I will move into the area called sexual behavior among the unmarried youth. This is the main area of the presentation. You can see that youth are there. Their love affairs are sometimes very much continue with the mobile phones, the online love affairs, but later on vulnerable kind of ones. You can see the masturbation, the male and female youth is concerned. Masturbation is at a somewhat higher level. 15 to 19 young males, 60%. Once you look at the 20 to 24 group, the first line, 74% of the male youth engage in masturbation. Females, around 20%. But once they grown up, they reduce that one. But the most interesting part I observe, and most vulnerable area observed among the unmarried Sri Lankan youth, their sexual behavior. Particularly I am presenting information about the highest level of sexual behavior, what you call the sexual intercourse, heterosexual kind of information. All are unmarried, but if you look at 15 to 19 fairly young unmarried population, 22% of the 15 to 19 unmarried youth already had sexual intercourse experience. But once we observe from the 20 to 24 age group, 29% of the unmarried youth males have sexual intercourse experience. Among the females, one would not expect even 9% of unmarried females to report sexual intercourse, but 20 to 24 group, 13% of the unmarried females have already had sexual intercourse experience. Therefore, youth as a whole, last two columns, 1/4 of the unmarried youth already have sexual intercourse experience, and females more than 11%. This survey was conducted 2019 and early part of 20. But we know from some of our research, some of the poor families, particularly young girls who are now moving into the sex industry, female sex workers, as for the livelihood part, whether sex industry is a good thing or bad thing, or whether it need to be legalized or rationalized, or legal points, social points can be discussed. But I am saying what is happening. Therefore, not only that, there are some indications from the university students, girls are also entering into the same kind of activity. Well, it is something we never expected. But of course, all the poor students, usually we give a bursary. As far as I know, as administrator, as a former dean, I know how much we pay everything. But nowadays, of course, youth spend a lot of money for mobile phones itself, right? Mobile phones. But university, of course, Wi-Fi facilities are there. I think here also Wi-Fi facilities are there. Probably they are free of charge for that. But once they out, they don't have that facility. Therefore, you can see whatever I said. Now, I'm not going to talk much about their future, but at the youthhood, they are having some problems already. If you look at the overall, the last bar, that is about the overall, but the district-wise is concerned, Hambantota males are the most vulnerable group. More than almost 32% of the Hambantota male youth already had experience of sexual intercourse. We don't know whether why it is happening. But district as a whole, Puttlam is the still highest. Puttlam, more than 20% of the youth in Puttlam. But males are concerned, Hambantota is the highest. District as a whole, Puttlam is the highest. Only 13 or 14% of the Nuwara youth had sexual intercourse, much lower still. But there is another point I have to tell you that some of you may be not large number of what do you call this large number of female youth from the Nuwara, they have left Nuwara. They have left the Nuwara, therefore we can't get their information. Therefore, sometime I would say there's a little bit of underreporting is happening, right? So there are large numbers are in Colombo and many other areas. Now, interesting, I think, another slide. Youth with whom they had sexual intercourse. The lover is the most prominent one. The youth who had sexual intercourse experience, lover is the first line indicates 91% of the males in the 20 to 24 age group, lover was the main sexual intercourse partner. But the problem is the sizable amount of these young males and the females, the males particularly, commercial sex worker. If you look at the 20 to 24 age group, 14.5% of the males, unmarried males, have an experience of sexual intercourse with the commercial sex workers. Commercial sex workers. Therefore, there is some danger on sexually transmitted diseases and so on. Now, of course, I have some data about the university students. In our sample, we have some component of the university students. Number one, among the youth, sexual intercourse reported by the employed youth. Probably they have money, therefore they can spend. The second group is the university students. Highest number of sexual intercourse is coming from the university students. And unemployed, idling, they are lower. I just presented that idea, but the deans and vice chancellors are here, therefore counselors are here. Think about University of Colombo. Of course, we have a little advantage than your university because most of our students go after 4 o'clock. They can't usually stay unless we have lectures, we don't allow them to stay after. But here, I know the problem is somewhat difficult. Okay, I'm approaching my last slides. The above data demonstrate that vulnerable sexual practices are significant among the lovers in Sri Lanka. Therefore, Dean of the Art Faculty, Dean of the Science or Medical, or you can observe and talk to the counselors, what percentage of our students have love affairs, any reporting, probably we can get some information from the clinics or the medical centers. University, I tend to talk to sometime medical officers. Well, we call them as Z generation or alpha generation. Sometimes we call that they were born after 2010. For a joke, we tend to say that they were born with the mobile phone. Alpha generation. They born with the mobile phone. Therefore, my conclusion, before I come to the conclusion, I want to make sure that every time we have to promote our teledrama, film industry or music culture, dancing. I have observed sometime, of course, there is some attempt by the number of the television, stations like Sirasad, Derana. They try to bring the youth and allow them to sing the songs which are providing some real meaning and something they can get from those lyrics and so on, rather than singing something you don't understand. There is nothing to obtain. Therefore, no matter Sinhala or Hindi or English, If you even read a song like Every Night in My Dreams, I See You, I Feel You, that is how Go On, the Titanic song, or songs like old songs as well as new songs in Hindi. But if you look at, the youth need to be educated about the songs which, now the problem is this, youth tend to have love affairs. The songs I presented to you, they think that within love affairs, sexual behavior is something very common and we can enter into that. But the problem is that, I think I will discuss the problem in my conclusion. But what I am saying is that I think you don't have a music department here, no? You have a music department here. Therefore, they should promote that kind of music culture. The songs which produce something more knowledge, wisdom kind of area. Love affairs is a physiological thing. At the young age, everyone tend to have love affairs. That's a common thing. We can't block that one. But behave in a more responsible manner. We tend to use the word responsible manner. For that, we have to educate them. But look at this. I show you that Anam Suranganak Paniya, Bonna Venne Dhammika Paniya. But if you look at the songs produced somewhat back, 1960s and 70s, song like Victor Ratnayaka song, Singing Sunan Rally. The love is there, portrayed the love. But the wording, the music, the rhythm structures are concerned. It's a very interestingly give you a message to your brain. See? Sihil Sulang Ralle Obe Suvend Musuve Adre Mad Sinidu Pahasalab Hadvet Dalu Selave Sihil Sulang Ralle Obe Suvend Musuve. Therefore, coming to the conclusion, right? Although large proportion of youth achieve SRH education from the schools, their knowledge is poor. Internet-based SRH information is heavily searched by them. Heavily searched by them. Probably majority of them were observing sex-related video clips. Of course, I also observe the YouTube and try to understand some of the music world and how they produce and so many things. But entertainment is required. Entertainment. If someone say that I never observed YouTube, there's something wrong. A significant proportion of unmarried youth are exposed to risky sexual behavior. And sex workers, STI, HIV, one before the last bullet is the most important one. Since higher proportion of unmarried youth are reporting sexual intercourse even before marriage, which can contribute to many social and health consequences during their marriage. They are not married, they are unmarried. But once they enter into the marriage, there is a problem. I will simply tell you one or two problems. There is something called double standards. Double standards means what? All the men expect virgin girl at the time of marriage. How can you expect virgin girl, your behaviors not comply with that? Your behavior not allow for that. Therefore, but if you are not getting virgin one, there are problems, subsequent problems, violence, domestic violence, chasticity, violence, separation, divorces, very common. I will give you only one statistics obtained from the Justice Ministry. Per day, Sri Lanka, lawyers are filing 300 to 400 divorce cases in our courts per day. See, if I am wrong, go to the website and see. It's a Justice Ministry, usually don't tell false. Maybe other ministries, I don't know. I know the Education Ministry and the, cultural ministries and so on, right? Therefore, per day, 300 to 400 divorces cases are filed by the lawyers. Not the divorces are granted by the courts, but the cases are filed. That means the problem, the volume, the size of the problem you can understand. Therefore, what we have to do, of course, I don't think I should tell you much about what we have to do in the universities. The focus intervention need to address SRH issues at the Ministry of Health and other levels, Ministry of Education, general education, we call the comprehensive sexual education. I don't know whether this university for the students you provide any comprehensive sexual education at the orientation levels, which is very much required. When I was a dean, of course, I can talk to them, but I bring people, more medical people and some other practitioners. Well, general education, comprehensive sexual education, and the third, the one before the last bullet, production and promotion of good aesthetic products. You know, I have observed in Sri Lanka, University of Colombo also, medical faculty students are very good in aesthetic fields. Even though we teach in the arts faculties, we tend to believe that arts faculty students are more knowledgeable on the aesthetic field. But I have seen University of Colombo medical faculty students are the best students in aesthetic field. Singing, music and dancing are concerned. Therefore, but arts faculties, of course, we have to go. Arts faculty students are the more vulnerable group, I would say, more vulnerable. Not in the law, science, medical, they have a pathway already fixed. Policies and programs, I'm not going to talk about the policies and programs, therefore wish you good luck. And I believe you enjoy my presentation and not a dull presentation to you. And some message is for there. And wish you good luck with your all the programs. And that is the end of my presentation. And I will certainly bring a same publication. Next time I am coming on 28 or 29 for the library as well as management faculty. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your interesting speech and the presentation. Now, in honor of our distinguished guests present here this morning, and on behalf of the Faculty of Graduate Studies of the University of Sri Jayewardenepura, tokens of appreciation will be presented to our distinguished guests. To proceed, I cordially invite Professor Rasika Pereira, Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and the Conference Chair of iCMA 2023, to present the token of appreciation to the chief guest of this inauguration, Senior Professor Padmalal M. Manage, Vice Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayewardenepura. And also, it's a time to pay our sincere gratitude to the keynote speaker of iCMA 2023, Emeritus Professor Indral de Silva. Professor Rasika Pereira will present the token of appreciation to the keynote speaker. Thank you very much for your valuable participation to make this event a success. Thank you, sir. You can sit. There were many behind the scenes who helped to make this event a reality. Without their support, this conference would not have been possible. Thus, to thank all of them, I would like to call upon the Secretary of this year's conference, iCMA 2023, Mr. Mohammad Atiq, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning to all of you. Venerable Maha Sangharatha, Mahasangha, Chief Guest Senior Professor Padmalale Manage, Keynote Speaker Emeritus Professor Indral De Silva, Conference Chair and the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, Professor Rasika Pereira, all the Deans of the faculties, past Deans of the FGS, Board of Chairs of the Study Boards of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, all the Senior Professors, and Librarian, Course Coordinator of the Postgraduate Programs, Lecturers, Registrar of the University, and all the participants who have with us today, both physically as well as virtually. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion on behalf of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Sri Jayewardenepura. First and foremost, I would like to thank Senior Professor Padmalale Manage, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and being the chief guest of the conference. I wish to extend our gratitude to the keynote speaker, Emeritus Professor Indralal De Silva. We are humbled, sir, by your kind gesture in accepting to give us this lecture despite your numerous and tight schedules. Also, I believe we have all profited from your wealth of learning and experience. I would like to thank this opportunity to place on record our sincere thanks to Professor Rasika Pereira for the perfect support, leadership, guidance he has extended to all of us at the iCMA 2023. Thank you very much, sir. Above and beyond, let's not forget about the backbone of this conference, the editorial committee of iCMA 2023, including chairpersons of the Board of Studies of the faculty. Dear sir, madam, thank you very much. And I extend my gratitude to the reviewers, language editors, the session chairs, and all the other resource persons for their enormous cooperation throughout this process. I may like to express my sincere thanks to the staff members of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, including our Assistant Registrar, Mrs. Madhushi Egodage, and our Deputy Bursar of the faculty, Mrs. Lekha Vikramasinghe. All the members of the Japura Media team and the Center for IT Services, including Professor Hiran Amarasekara and Mr. Harsha Munasinghe. Thank you very much for putting this event together. I would like to thank Professor Damayanti Bamunasinghe and Mr. Lahiru Siriwardena from the CDEP, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, for supporting with us today with the live streaming. Also, I should mention Mr. Asanka, the Works Engineer of the University, and their team. Thank you very much. On behalf of the FGS, I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Kanishka Vijayaratne for comparing this at this inauguration. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on this completion of this task beyond their comfort zones to make this event a reality. However, conducting this conference would have been impossible without the hard effort of our organizing committee, who have devoted lots of time and energy within this short time of period. Dr. Taranga Dilrukshi, Dr. Kumudu Bandara, Dr. Sahani Chandrasiri, Ms. Manjali Jayawardena, Ms. Udari Lienage, Ms. Malsha Rodrigo, Mr. Kavisha Gayantha, Mr. Nirman Abhishek, Mr. Amila Nuwan Srishan, and all the staff members of the FGS. Thank you very much for your immense support. Last but not least, we thank you all for coming and supporting us to make this event a success. Thank you very much.
Again, I sincerely thank all the guests who joined us on site, also via Zoom today. To mark the end of the ceremony, please rise for the national anthem.
Sri Lanka Mata, Upper Sri Lanka, Namo 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 Mata, Sundara Siri Barini Surani මුක්තිය ඔබවේ නව ජීවන දෙමිනේ නිතින අප කුබුදු කරන් වාතා ඥාන වීර්ය වඩවමින් රැගෙන යනු මැන ජය භූමිකරා එක මවකගේ දරු කළ බැවිනා යමු යමු වී නොපමා ප්‍රේම වඩා සැනවේග දුරලයා නමෝ නමෝ මාතා අප ශ්‍රී ලංකා නමෝ 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 මාතා
We will be concluding the inauguration of the 10th International Conference on Multidisciplinary Approaches, iCMA 2023. With this, we will commence the technical session from 11:30 a.m. at the Faculty of Graduate Studies. All the guests are invited to partake the refreshments which will be served next door. Thank you and have a great day.